Good afternoon, this is me, centrevez vectra. I just want to share my thoughts on the DLC that recently came out from Curse of Osiris and what I think about it. The kick-off, the story campaign was not very good from a narrative standpoint, because they didn't share the same gravitas and essence the story campaign had with the Taken King, where you get to invest in the Oryx's motivations, what he did, what to get revenge on those who killed his son Crota. But the story campaign in Curse of Osiris was one-dimensional. It started off great, then all of a sudden it fell into fanfic territory, which a lot of cliche jokes where they turned Brother Vance into a cartoon character of a geek. It was not a great move, and it was disrespecting the character that was well respected in the first game. As if you did Trials of Osiris and went flawless and got to the original lighthouse, and if you have visited the Vestian outpost, he spoke in the Stoic demeanor, but most of the time he was a blubbering, cliched joke. That joke, what we're seeing about dozens of times in cartoons. So kind of like it felt like Dr. Raymond stands from the real Ghostbusters, all the energetic and over enthusiastic. But the whole trade-off is in the early conversation between Brother Vance and Ikora, where she says, Brother Vance says, Ikora, Osiris' greatest student. Then Ikora insults him, says, Brother Vance, Osiris' greatest fan. That joke did not land well. And for the DLC to invest in the time, we're supposed to see this Osiris character. You barely saw him. It was mere virtual representations of him, and the only time you really saw him was in the end cinematic. And that was it. Even though Oded Fair did a great standing job, did the voice of Osiris, but As for Sakira, which was voiced by Morena Baccarin, yeah, it was a great concept, but we've gotten off with one female comic relief AI character. We don't need two. I thought that was thinking where Destiny started to become in the realms of comedy. Let's have a lot of two-dimensional comic relief female characters. And let's go on to this so-called infinite forest, which is not quite infinite in my book. It's a total misinterpretation of the word infinite. If you go out in the actual forest, a real forest is actually infinite. It goes on and on and on forever. But this infinite forest did not live up to its name. It was more or less the same interlocking areas with the same enemy encounters with different mechanics. Which was a waste of potential. Only time you get to see the so-called infinite forest if you're doing the adventures, or if you're doing the main story campaign, or if you're running a strike. And there's no option to go and explore it to patrol, like throwing a load of lost sectors and public events in there. That would maximise its full potential. And let's go on about this public event. The public event, in essence, is average upon best. Reason my point being, it doesn't give full marks because of the whole issue that majority of the time all you're going to get is a couple of tokens and a blue, as Deej said it rightfully so in the Twitch review blog of Curse of Osiris. And the other problem about how they handle with Curse of Osiris is the lack of mobility, which can use your sparrow around the lighthouse patrol area, which is about the average size enough to fit a golf course. So they locked out the ability to use sparrows. But the problem is that if you commandeer an interceptor, you get to go around the area. But if that's going to be the case, why didn't they just say, okay, we can let you use your sparrow? I know the reason why they locked out the sparrows in the Dreadnought, because the area wasn't big enough to navigate around by using a sparrow. And on Mercury, that is not an excuse. If you can go around the area in a hijacked interceptor, I'm sure you can do it exactly the same on your Sparrow. And the only one thing they got was just one lost sector. And that's basically it. So again, so DLC that Bungie came up with is not really worth $20 in my opinion. It was well suited rather than a $5 for the $10 DLC. And what they did was they brought in a couple of strikes that is reduxes of the campaign stories. In which those strikes you're replaying the story again in strike form. In which I find it's total barren and lazy how they handled the DLC. But even though to try to hype it as possible, YouTuber called MS5000 Watts criticized the handling of the streams. She thought it was getting way too much into the realms of overhyping. To say that when Destiny 2 came out, was announced early this year, it was so heavily overhyped that the various prominent Destiny YouTubers was covering it extensively, telling people what to know about the Destiny 2. To say that Destiny 2 at the moment is not in good shape, with its whole issue about the XP throttling and the most recently locking people out various content. If you don't own the Curse of Osiris, you don't get to do the prestige raids and Nightfalls. So you don't get the prestige trophies and to full completion of Legend of Atreus Shotgun Quest. So they had to rethink that and say yeah, we're gonna reverse that decision and let everybody that even hasn't got the DLC or not, they could still do the prestige activities. But some decisions stay exactly the same. For instance, a Nightfall will happen on the DLC map. You still have to require the DLC. I get why Bungie was going when they conceived Destiny 2 to appeal towards the still lesser demographic of those who doesn't have too much time, by alienating the D1 Destiny players that's been loyal since the beta of the original. Yeah, they could compromise and they could have not favoured one or the over the other. I thought that was a big mistake that Bungie made. So it's going to take them quite a lot of time to put it right enough to go to get those who defected from the game to come back. That is the whole issue. But only one addition to this this is the masterwork system, which is great. But only one problem about that is it gives you total kills and extra light orbs. Nothing to write about it. It doesn't help with your light, or should I say, power level progression. Because Destiny 2 is all about power instead of light. And the whole thing they recently brought back was the free coins. Instead of people amassing loads of them and burning through 25 of them to get an exotic drop, but this time round they have a cooldown period of 4 hours to get an exotic drop. That's fine by it. There's been loads of criticisms been going on about the way of making it easy to get exotics. Not well as in Destiny 1, where most of the time the exotics were a high grind to get, either via a special exotic quest, or if you get lucky with a bounty that gives you the farm quest in the Rise of Iron, and the off chance of the Galahorn quest, or if you're lucky and complete the Sunrise bounty in the completed time, you get a chance of being an icebreaker. And well as in Destiny 2, that ain't such. But in Destiny 1, a little of exotic quest was for the sleeper stimulant, which you can get by trading in Divaling schematics to Banshee, which gives you the quest of the sleeper stimulant, which you have to do one of the redux missions of the Dark Below, which you have to kill the knights and you got to put them in order to get the transmitted receiver. Then after when you do that is you have to do a redux of the Cage Stash quest from the Taken King. But once you did that, you have to do War Satan's missions on Earth, the Moon and Mars. Once you did that, all you have to do is dismantle a legendary item, and if you're lucky and did it on the Reset Arms Day, you get to do the ultra hard version of the Fallen Saber quest in order to get the shell for the sleeper stimulant. So once you did that, you take the gun shell to Banshee and it gives you the weapon. But match that into Destiny 2, where it's not quite, there's not much of that. Is you can get exotics by completing special missions and that, but that was not been bountiful to do that, because some of them requires doing certain incidences in strikes and nightfall, not strikes, in Crucible, then nightfalls and the raid. And when it comes to the Legend of Osiris, that's where the problems started occurring. So what happens, what to do if I was on the final stage of the Legend of Osiris? I want the ornament and the trophy. Do I have to buy the DLC in order to complete it? But the bunch, like I said earlier, Bungie's original answer was probably so. But that caused so many criticisms amongst those who's got the final bit of the quest. And the most handling unforgivable thing about the prestige trophies and that. But back to the curse of Osiris. That some of the bits in this DLC was such a waste of potential. Like the Infinite Forest. The Infinite Forest could have been maximised quite better. Twitch streamer and YouTuber said no to Rage and said it would have been a lot better to maximise it a lot better. And a couple of others. So in order to maximise an area, what Bungie should stop doing is locking off certain areas to do certain activities. If they're supposed to make it the open world experience, they should make it as an open world experience. Like, get to envisage the full splendour of the Infinite Forest. But the area in the garden in world, strike and adventure, they could have even done more better to stuff in there. Like, also have a couple of lost sectors and public events and regional chests. But the problem is, due to the problem of the DLC, is sort of like this week the Mercury was the flashpoint area. Normally when you have the flashpoint areas, you have Xur appearing. Like Xur last week appeared in the EDZ. And in the EDZ, Xur was selling the Prometheus lens, which everybody went nuts about it. Which caused many concerns that Bungie was so slow to react to saying about the whole issue about the overpowerfulness of the Prometheus lens, so they can cancel the Trials of the Nine, which still went ahead. But in its place, postponed the faction rallies to a later date. And that's the whole problematic about it all. But if you didn't own the deal, originally, if you didn't own the DLC, you miss out on Xur. That's why at the last minute ditch, they relocated Xur back into the tower. As when D1, Xur had the huge prominence in the tower. Like he was only in two places in Destiny 1 when he appeared every Friday. He was either somewhere in the tower or somewhere in one area in the Vestian outpost. But with Destiny 2, they have him all over the place. Because of the problem of those who haven't got the DLC or who boycotted buying the DLC because they found out the reviews wasn't great, courtesy of Destin Lugeri from the Fire Team chat of over at IGN, and a couple of lukewarm reviews from the likes of My Name is Bife, which she's a great Destiny lorist that does fantastic lore. Even he thought in some places was underwhelmed. And cut long story short, that's why they had to relocate to the tower, which was via the hangar by Amanda Holiday and Cade 6.
The final moment of reckoning, a chance to change fate.
But as the whole handling of the Dawning, it was the worst promotion of the Dawning that I've ever seen. They didn't make no effort of rushing out a slight teaser to show people what to expect. All they did was clumsily did a few still caps for certain Destiny YouTubers to report on, and that's all we got. But likewise in V1, when the Dawning come out, it was heavily advertised. But for last year, due to the problems with it that leading to microtransactions and that, they had to go back and do a different trailer, which people may be concerning the same problems of being the old reaching towards microtransactions, which was under such criticism at the moment with the EA microtransaction scandal, which they temporarily removed the microtransactions from Star Wars Battlefield 2 game, in which they're fearing that is gonna happen exactly the same. But also with Mercury, they could have handled the Mercury a hell lot better and had more depths and areas to go around with. So you could throw on a load of sparrows, which were suit to fans no end. But the whole thing about it is that certain YouTubers has been given a hard time journey through this year by some savoury comments, which was all being called Bungie sellouts and shields.
Osiris are misguided.
Messer Sean said this to his army buddy, and his army buddy said, "I don't get the mentality of the millennial culture today, and it's to enjoy the game. It's only a game." And Messer Sean always have this positive attitude of not looking at the wine glass exactly the same way, being half empty. That's fair enough. But the problem lies about Bungie within a whole. Bungie took 3 years to get Destiny 1 right, because Destiny 1 didn't ship in good shape. It had its problems from the very beginning, like its infamous loot cave problem, which people spent ages shooting a hole in a certain cave in D1, so they reduced the dropages by giving them a slight nerf.
When I awoke this morning, the portents were not good. But then, you arrived, and I saw that.
Then the whole issue of the free coins. Over last year, kid you not, that Zer was missing his free coins. That scratched loads of heads of people feeling very puzzled. For certain YouTubers like Rick Karkis and a couple of others was delighted that Zer did not have their free coins, because of this whole issue of engaging those who doesn't have very little time to play. We're getting an easy ride on the exotics instead of grinding them the same way like a avid hardcore player did. So now we're going through the same problems in D2. And I know I'm going slight off topic here, but how they handled the Curse of Osiris storyline is, instead of giving us more story more story and depth to the DLC, you have to read the rest of the story yourself by a mini comic book series in which you have to
stand a chance.
Download free off the Bungie site. That's very good on paper but lousy in practice. Point being, when it's been lousy which has been good in paper and lousy in practice, because that's not a way to sell and market the DLC. Yeah, it was very good at the time, which Bungie was controlled of Halo, which they had quite a lot of work to do on that before developers of Bungie left and formed the 343. Because the name 343 came from the character in Destiny called 343 Guilty Spark. That became the genesis of 343 Industries, so they took the majority of the Halo franchise apart from Reach, which Bungie still own. So with 343 they have free reigns to create time novels and miniseries, and that was a treat with Halo. But with Destiny, it's gonna feel flat. When they should do these DLCs, they should have a bang for the buck. Like if they was gonna do a $20 DLC, then make it a lot better. So kind of like $20 is the same equivalency of a monthly subscription, where you're gonna, from Loot Crate, not in-game Loot Crate, actual Loot Crate, which you get 4 items. It's including the t-shirt. And that's the same equivalency of the Curse of Osiris DLC. You're only going to get 4 so story missions. The abundance of adventures. Well, 4 adventures plus heroic. Conversion. So in order to unlock the forge, 2 strikes are a conglomeration of the story campaign missions, with the addition of the 2 additional crucible marks. One of them is on Titan. But every time they come up with a new DLC for Destiny, they always come with a full raid. But this time, how they handled it was did it in the form of raid layers, which is a mini raid inside of a raid map called the Leviathan. Everybody was having the slight reservations and mixed feelings about it. This, oh god, it's going to be a Vex themed DLC, and there's going to be another Cabal themed raid layer. But to many surprises to the hardcore raiders, that wasn't the case. It turned out to be a Vex one. But rather short, and that some of them was disappointed in it, said it could have been longer. But others, like Messer Sean, felt it was a nice and sweet raid. Not as long as sweaty and then grindy. So kind of like not in the past DLCs in the Destiny 1. So kind of like with the Dark Below. They had the Crota's End, which to many people they felt it was slightly underwhelmed, even though the loot you get was great. I should know I was lucky to get on the raid team that carried me, and the weapons I got was the Abyss Defiant Adept and the Song of Iyut. Even though some of them said in practice it could have been a strike. It didn't qualify as a full-fledged raid, but when it came to the House of Wolves, the hardcore players found it was an underwhelming DLC, because the point being, instead of adding a raid, they had the Prison of Elders, which is mini hard mode events into one, which can guarantee a chest at the end, which can guarantee you a random exotic and an awesome loot. But when Bungie started to redeem themselves was in the Taken King, which they were true back to form, but with the King's Fall. I know I didn't do the King's Fall because I couldn't get into the raid team. But what I've seen of it, the hardcore players was blown over. They was delighted to see a full raid. And steamrolling onto the Rise of Iron. The Rise of Iron had the same treatment in essence to the Curse of Osiris. A lukewarm, mediocre story campaign, but it had the addition of the Plaguelands, which was a great area to go around on a Sparrow because it was a lot bigger than the Mercury map. And the addition of Archon's Forge, which if you had those silver offerings, it depends on the rarity. If it's common, rare, or legendary, you guarantee, everybody guarantees something at the end of the event. So match that to what we got in the Curse of Osiris, which is not much. They could have added even an Archon's Forge based edition in here, even with the Court of Oryx. The Court of Oryx came with the Ticker King, which is brilliant for which you can have I was fun in it, but they left so much great potential ideas in the Curse of Osiris. That's why it's not really warranted $20. I played this since day one of release. In the space of few days, I completed the campaign. It did all the adventures, including the heroic one, to unlock the forge, and I was spent. Literally. Felt like there was nothing left to do apart from delving into the realms of this weapons forging. But the only other addition they had with this that came along in the update, coincidence with this DLC, is the fetid engram. A fetid engram is a special engram you purchase from Zer, which is one per week. I'm not sure it carries from character to character. I'm not sure about the algorithm on that. But the whole concept of the fetid engram will to give you an exotic that's not in your collection, even if it's a warlock piece, a titan piece, or a hunter piece. Sort of exotics, no matter which character you play, you guarantee that item for that class, and an item of weapons that's not in your collection. Something like if you haven't got the Skyburners off for the problem
between past and future.
With it that encoding exotic engrams, which been having a bad problem late of people getting them repetitions. You're never going to get the sky burners off, and that's why they added that incentive to get the sky burners off. The only ones that didn't get it up to recent was me and more console. To say the likes of me and more console has been playing Destiny 2 from day one, and we never got the sky burners off because of the RNG system of getting exotics and other legendaries in this game. It's not very good. So why it's in a bad shape. So that's why in the new year they're going to address the duplication issue with the exotic and try to reduce the rate of duplicates. So if you wanted that a weapon or piece of armor any quicker, you can rely on Zerg. But some people have been reported the whole issue of the fated engrams. They said they've not been getting in that piece of armor or a weapon. They've been getting a duplicate. That is so. That was the flaw about the fetid engram. So it's not been a great year as such for Bungie, really, with this few minor issues and etc. So that's why they didn't go into the whole marketing foray about the Donny. So, in a nutshell, Curse of Osiris could have done with a lot better work. It was the worst I've seen from a Bungie product. Because they didn't focus their time and energy into the story campaign. Because I think at the moment they didn't really care. And that is sad. I know this is what I'm saying is not trying to put Bungie down before I get salty ass comments about it. It's just my standpoint where Bungie should have done better. Mercury is okay to look at.
Reminds me of a number
But it could have done a lot of work in things like improvements
Perhaps I should write it down.
to the exploration by opening it up by giving people the free rein to use their sparrows. Like I highlighted it earlier, like I highlighted it this earlier, if you can drive around the map with an interceptor, I'm sure you could do exactly the same with your sparrow. So that does not make any common logic or sense. Saying why can we use one type of vehicle to go around the terrain when we can't use another? That is a barren and lazy concept. So I'm hoping to God the next DLC, which comes in spring, will be handled a lot better. And hoping to God that Bungie gets over this rocky period and get back to true form in shape. Like I said, and I have nothing against Bungie, and now Bungie is capable of doing great things. I played Halo. It was great. Even though I played the Master Chief collection, but it still had the Bungie brand on it, which was cool. So one thing that main ingredients that needs to get back into this game is the magic. So before people run to me and say, no, you're just another Bungie fanboy, I am not. I just like playing the games to give my honest opinion. And there's some people who say, oh, you're just reading off the script. No, I don't do that. I don't do scripted commentary. That's not my thing. That's not how I roll. I tell it from a forthright perspective. Tell it like it is. I don't fudge the issue. Because where I'm from, which is
a heavy train.
Leeds, West Yorkshire, us Yorkshire people
Come closer, Titan.
don't sugarcoat
You
things.
have changed infinity. Tell me, has it changed you too?
And that's why the whole issue aligned about it.
I don't need to see you, Guardian, to know you seek the truth of Osiris. We all do.
That's a huge problem.
You seek knowledge,
And
there is time to learn.
with the whole concept of having a area for patrol on Mercury, which is a small in it is larger in essence but smaller in depth. So what this should have done was is tested this DLC properly. I know that some YouTubers like Messerschon, More Console, a couple of others were lucky to go to Bungie Studios to play it. That's fine. But this DLC wasn't given the full quality testing, quality assurance testing, which people can see. Yeah, it needs reworking in this section and that section and the other section. So they're saying that nah, the Infinite Forest is the way you designed the Infinite Forest is bad. Let's change it. So what they should have done was go back to the drawing board and changed it and made it better. Look at all of this here. You get all this plush area. Apart from doing a public event, you could easily open that there and put dozens more lost sectors and public events. All of that there. But instead of them being lazily restricted to one tiny area. So all these could have a mass potential to use your sparrow. You can get from one end to another, to another, to another, to another, to another by using your sparrow. That would be excellent doing that. Why didn't the developers think of that idea in the first place? So this whole area on Mercury could have huge potential, but it's not well utilized. When it comes to open world video gaming, you're supposed to honor the full open world experience. Look at San Andreas. San Andreas is an old Grand Theft Auto game. You could go all the way around the map in Los Santos. That would a dream. Did that because I played San Andreas, and I was spending ages driving around the entire map with no restrictions. But however, when it comes to open world experience in Destiny speak, it somewhat has been lost in translation. Let's add these texturized 3D environments and slap an open world tag on it, and most of it just is there to look at and take pretty still caps for your desktop theme if you're playing on the Xbox or PlayStation 4, or now on a PC. That's basically it. And this is why the concept design of the lighthouse is not really an open world experience. It's just not. They might they might piecemeal it as that, but it's not. And this is the whole common flaw about this DLC. Look at the plague lands in the Rise of Iron. They maximize the potential of going out to certain areas. So, and you get to use your sparrow. But on this, she can't. But this lighthouse area should not be a DLC based patrol area. It should have been one of those type of areas like the moon included in day one of the game's release. Even though some areas on the moon was gated off for the dark below missions and the strikes. But you can still have the full freedom to go around the area on your Sparrow. Including Mercury in day one, not in DLC, would have been a lot better. And spend the money and resources that Bungie spent on creating the Curse of Osiris to create another DLC. Instead of doing the way they did. One of the guys says in Fire Team chat last week, saying that World of Warcraft spent its time building the foundations around one game. didn't spread it like 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 series of. They built the foundations and added more content onto the game. That kept both that kept the hardcore player base engaged and continuously playing it. Not do these piffy waste of potential DLCs and that. But my thoughts on Curse of Osiris, it was not warranted of the production costs into making the DLC. It was really not. The story wasn't engaging. The character actions was awkward. Brother Vance became a cliche joke. But I hope to God the one in spring will be a lot better. Because if it's going to involve Cade 6, which is going to be comedy gold, and the jokes would have been a lot better.
You have one chance to stop them, right now.
But with this one, no. If they took Osiris out the equation, they could have done a full-fledged Vets DLC. Have a villain in the vein of Oryx. That would have been a lot better.
Charge into battle like the mighty Osiris himself.
Then you have to stop this Vex Overlord for taking over the planet Mercury without the inclusion of this lighthouse. You could have had the Mercury. You could have the lighthouse on Mercury as an extra patrol space since day one of Destiny 2's launch. So my full final rating of Curse of Osiris is around about 6 out of 10.
down the Vex, like Osiris would.
So I do this and sign up. After this event,
And your efforts add to the great record of Osiris and those who act in his name.
right, that's my thoughts on Curse of Osiris. I hope that you enjoy it. I will be back on Friday with a Zero video. Until then, have a great day, wherever you are in the world, and stay safe and farewell.